Shannon, should the Clippers be encouraged or discouraged by their Game 1 loss?
I don't know why the hell they would be encouraged. Utah missed 20 straight shots in the first quarter. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well all night, at least the first half. You had a 13-point lead at the half. Donovan Mitchell had 13 points, seemed to be couldn't find his footing. And then he exploded in the second half. They should be discouraged because what's the likelihood, Skip, that Joe Ingles is going to go 1 from 8 again from 3? And Royce O'Neal is going to be over. When I look at it, Skip, there's something that's going on with you guys. Is that Paul George is who we thought he was. Now, in his last, he went 7 of 15, 5 of 15, 6 of 15, and 4 of 17. He's 10 for 30 from the three-point line. He got outscored. He and Kawhi got outscored by Spider Mitchell by himself. You good with that? Now, I want to know why Marcus Smart Sr. attempted that shot. Because Kawhi had the ball, Paul George had the ball. Now, this is 3 times that we know of. Paul George has given up the final shot. He gave it up when he was in Indiana and said, CJ got to give me the ball back. He gave it up to Terrence Mann the other night. And he just gave it up again. Now, I want to know why Kawhi didn't take that shot. Because, you know, Kawhi, the king of L.A. Scorsese got the script right now. He directed. New king of L.A. Never make the script. Never make the stream, Skip. They should be very discouraged because I don't know if they're going to get an opportunity to have this big of a lead. A team missed 20 straight shots and you don't bury them. And I thought they would come out a little rusty. We talked about it yesterday, Skip. I said, when a team gets off this much time, it's like, And the last team that came off, and I understood, maybe the Clippers' legs got a little heavy because they did go 7 rounds. It was 7 games, and it was 7 hard games. But another thing that should be discouraging, Utah won this game without Mike Conley. Mike Conley going to come back, I would like to think, at some point in time, but they might not need him. They might not need him. They look good on Spider Mitchell get started, did it. And D-Wade on the sideline. D-Wade said, gotcha, buddy.
So what do you got, Jazz in 4?
No. Oh. I got the Jazz. You got the Clippers.
I do.
Okay, well, keep
I
that
love the Clippers.
No, you don't. What, did you? Oh, and Spider Mitchell said something. Did you see him at the start of the fourth quarter?
I did.
What did he say, Skip Bayless?
He spoke the truth. What did he say? Say it.
He said, if we go on out here and jump on them, they're going to get ready for game 2.
Because they just came off Game 7 just 48 hours ago, right? Didn't he say that? Wait, say what he said. No. You brought it up. You got to speak it.
But you said...
Speak it in its entirety.
Whoa. But when LeBron James, you said guys shouldn't get tired. Why do they get tired and nobody else?
Is it my turn?
One more thing.
Okay.
What did Rudy Gobert say, though? Rudy Gobert said, I knew they were going to pass it to Marcus Morris because them chumps ain't want to take the final shot. That's what Rudy said. Rudy said, I knew who was going to take the ball. You got Paul George. You got Kawhi. Kawhi's a 2-time Finals MVP. Paul George is an all-NBA player. Both are perennial all-stars. And they passing the ball to Marcus Morris. Now let LeBron James. Now you say, why wouldn't LeBron shoot it? Shoot it, LeBron. Kawhi, the king of the mid-range. Kawhi, Paul George, y'all great three-point shooters. That's what Skip Bayless tell me. Y'all in trouble. Y'all in trouble. Keep talking, I'm going to say 5. Say one word, I'm going to say 5.
One word.
5.
For how many? 5 cases?
5. You're going at 5.
5 cases for 5?
5 for 5.
Thank you.
5 for 5.
Diet Mountain Dew, the breakfast of champions, the nectar of the gods. I got so much to do. I'm going to have to build a 4th swimming pool in my backyard. I don't have enough room for it.
Can I get my 3 cases back on Friday's game?
Yeah, I'll do that. When we get to Friday, we'll get to that. But right now, we have to address game number 1, and I believe it is now officially my turn.
You on the clock.
I don't have a clock because you just spent the whole show with all of your baloney that you spewed all over the table.
Okay, go ahead.
So let me refresh my memory. Yesterday, you picked who to win this game? Utah.
Yes, Utah. Yeah.
Yesterday, I picked Utah to win this game. Okay. Yesterday, I first guessed everything that happened. I said that Kawhi would be running on empty, literally running, and then I amended it to trotting on empty because he just played 2 of the most Jordan-esque games I had ever seen him or maybe anybody else played. Game 6 and 7, he was Jordan-esque, and you agreed with that because he was special.
He was spectacular, yes.
And I believe it was the greatest playoff comeback in NBA playoff history, where my Clippers were down 0-2 Friday night at Dallas. They lost the first two games at home, and they're down 30-11 in Game 3 before a packed, crazed crowd at Dallas, and somehow came back and won that game and Game 4, and then went home and spit the bit and threw up all over themselves and lost Game 5 at home. So they lost 3 straight playoff home games to the same team and managed to rally back and win Game 7 finally against that team. And it took a lot out of them and especially out of him. So I did not expect much from the Clippers last night. In fact, truth be told, I thought they would get blown last night. And the truth was, I was mightily encouraged because they did have a chance to win the game. And as bad as they were in the third and parts of the fourth quarter, it went down to the last shot. They had a last shot to force overtime in Game 1. And you're saying they should be discouraged? They're dancing this morning. They're like, we got this.
You had a 13-point lead at the half,
That is correct. And I'm not discouraged by the second half, but I was disappointed because I believe a team that was more decorated, a team that maybe had won a couple of championships, would have smelled blood and realized, hey, we're all gassed physically and psychologically. We know that. But at halftime, they all look at each other and say, wait a second, they're trying to hand us one here. We can steal Game 1 at Utah, and it's a hard place to play.
Yeah.
As you know, it gets loud in there.
Sellout crowd last night.
I could barely hear the announcers last night. And the point was that a more decorated team, a veterans team that had won maybe a couple of championships would have said, hey, let's just suck it up and reach down and give all we got because we can rest in Game 2. We could steal Game 1, and that's all we need is Game 1.
Skip, you talking about Kawhi's won championships, Rondo's won championships,
Well,
Chauncey
not as a
Billups.
team. He hasn't won it as a Clipper.
But I'm saying, Ty Lue is a championship-winning coach. Chauncey Billups won one as a player.
Let's see. Marcus Morris has won how many? Paul George, how many?
So why he
Nicholas Batum, how many?
So why he taking
Big
the last
Zoo,
shot?
how many?
See,
How far do I have to go down the list?
But you say this is a Kawhi team.
Reggie Jackson,
This
how
Kawhi
many?
town.
Okay,
You the
that
man.
is correct. That is exactly right. So what did I see last night? I saw them have a 13-point lead because it wasn't rust that got the Jazz. I think it was nerves because they came out and they said, we've got to do this. We got to protect home court. And they missed 20 straight shots in the
20
first
straight.
half. 20 straight shots. And then Donovan Mitchell comes out and scores 16 in the third and 16 in the fourth. That's hard to do.
Yes.
That was also special.
Yes.
I give you that. And yet, at some point, you just got to say, we got to get the ball out of his hands. If Joe Ingles is going to beat us, so be it. That's what you have to do. And they didn't do it with Luka early. And now it's time to start doing it with, what do you call him, Spider?
Spider Mitchell.
I'll just call him Donovan because Donovan Mitchell just went fire and eyes hot in third and fourth quarter.
Skip, maybe they thought it was the bubble. Because remember, he dropped 57, dropped 50 on the Nuggets. He had those monster games, him and Jamal Murray going back and forth. And maybe they thought it was the bubble. But this kid can play.
He can play. Love him. I always loved him. In fact, I argued for him being. I argued that he should have been Rookie of the Year, and you were Ben Simmons for Rookie of the Year.
Skip, I didn't see this at Louisville, Skip.
Okay, well, I didn't. Nobody saw that. Okay, but the point was that what happened in the bubble to that team? They were up 3 games to 1.
Yes.
Oh, so they got a little scar tissue too, right?
Yep.
So we got two teams with some psychological scar tissue here that they have to fight through and work through. So we'll see how your Utah in 5 goes, because I love my side of that bet. Okay. So here's the point. I look at my box score and I say Paul George was 4 of 17 last night.
Right.
Sounds pretty bad, right?
Yep.
So here's what happened down the stretch. When I least expected it, when I thought they were cooked, when I thought it was going to be a 15-point win by Utah, guess who rose and shone out of nowhere? Pandemic P turned into playoff P. And if we could see what he did starting at the 2:55 mark of the fourth quarter, here's Pandemic P. This is 2:55. He makes a little 19-footer. Okay, that's pretty good.
Pressure.
That cut it to 7. Then he gets to the free throw line, and he makes a couple of free throws, and he cuts it to 6. And then he goes down again and bombs a 3. There's one to Kawhi, and then it's back to Paul George. He had an assist to Kawhi. And then he makes a 3 on the kick back to him, and he makes a three. Okay, so that all of a sudden cuts it to three. That's all Paul George. All of a sudden, in a matter of, what, a couple of minutes, he goes 19-footer, 2 free throws, 3, and an assist to Kawhi. Well, that's quite a salvo, right?
But here's the thing, though, Skip. There's no pressure. You're already down now, and everybody expecting you to lose, so now he can play free.
So he assisted on the final 9 points of the game, or scored or assisted on the final 9, right? Okay. So he scores 13 in the fourth quarter. Well, that looked like playoff P to me. And all of a sudden, in a shock to me, it was just like Game 5 revisited against the Mavericks at Staples. Remember that? When suddenly, when you least expected it, they had a shot to tie, and Kawhi shot an air ball from the corner. Well, if we could see the final sequence, all of a sudden, your man Spider, what did Spider do here? He's got a dagger shot. It's a 2, and he's quite short on that. And guess who? Playoff Rondo's got the ball, and I think, I finally got my quarterback. I finally got my man who can settle him down, lock him in, and get him a shot. And Kawhi, no, you can't give the ball back to Paul George. Who immediately
shoot it, Kawhi! Shoot it!
Go up
shoot
and shoot it over Joe Ingles. No, you can't. You can't.
Why?
What? And Marcus Morris has to try to shoot it over Gobert, and he's got no shot. And guess what Marcus Morris was for the game from 3? How about 1 for 9?
Yeah.
Is it possible that my Clippers go as Marcus Morris goes? Because what did he do in Game 7? He hit 7 of 9 threes. What did he do in the big
Game 3
at Dallas? He made 3 threes from the same corner, the far corner on television, right? The far right corner.
Yep.
Okay, so 1 for 9. Well, it's hard to win a game when one of your starters goes 1 for 9 from 3, but it's especially crazy when the ball winds up in his hands when he's 1 for 8 at that point, right?
Right.
Okay, because it's just wrong. So I'm going to be very objective about my man Kawhi Leonard. He has to take that shot. Here's the problem, though. He does not have great range. He is a killer dagger shooter from mid-range. You just said it. You just said he's one of the great mid-range shooters ever.
He is.
And he is. He doesn't have great three-point range. He's a decent three-point shooter, but he's not a great one.
Right.
And for him to rise up on his own and create that shot, he doesn't really have that shot. And they had to shoot a 3. I was a little disappointed that Rondo couldn't have penetrated a little more and
driving kick.
Yeah, to try to get somebody a little bit freer, because he just goes dribble handoff to the right and just hands it to Kawhi. And Kawhi's like, okay, what do I do? And he takes one dribble to his left and gives it to Paul George. So here's the irony of the last shot situation.
They could have called Kawhi for a pick, too.
Okay, they could have. I agree. And he was playing physical all over the place, but just mainly out of control physical.
You saw that?
Running into Gobert.
I was like, hold up, y'all trying to get physical with him. But Skip, also that call, that ball was out on Kawhi on Royce O'Neal.
It was.
And then they ended up getting a 3 on that. Kawhi traveled. He had the ball.
He didn't travel.
Yeah, he did.
No. So the point is, Kawhi Leonard has the basketball in his hands twice, and he does not create a shot where you just have to go up on Ingles. Just go up on him. Just rise and shine. What
about PG?
Okay. Here's the irony. Just me as a Clippers fan, I actually wanted Paul George to take that shot because he has much better distance range than Kawhi does.
Yeah, he does.
He can rise. Listen, this man is 6'8", and he's a leaper. He's got incredible athletic tools.
Skip.
Would I trust his intangibles? I don't know. He just scored 7 and assisted or scored the last 9 points. He actually had a hot hand.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.